Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Daniela, and in this video I'm going to show you my favorite way to make pillowcases. In this example I'm going to sew a satin pillowcase. I've been following the curly girl method for a while, and one of the recommendations there for perfect natural curls is a satin pillowcase, and I thought it might be a good opportunity to show you my favorite way to make them. But you can follow the steps in this tutorial to make a pillowcase of any material and size. I've tried different ways to make my pillowcases, and this one seems to be the one that I prefer the most. You can follow this tutorial to make a pillowcase from any material and in any size. If I have to be honest, the satin I use turns this fairly easy project into a more challenging one. If you are a beginner, try making your first pillowcases from cotton, and I promise it is going to be a quick and easy sew. So without further ado, let's get straight to it. To begin, first we need to determine the amount of fabric that we need. Take the size of your pillow. Measure the width and length. That's the size of the pillowcase we need when done. To those measurements, we need to add hem and seam allowances. For the width, I'm using twice the width of the pillow because the fabric is on fold on one side, plus 2 inches on each end for a hem, or a total of 4 inches for hems. On top of that, I add 4 inches for the overlap here. A bigger overlap looks better when you put the pillow in, so if the fabric width allows, I would rather aim for 8 inches overlap, but 4 inches would do as well. Sometimes, if there is not enough fabric width, I will make the hems more narrow so that I have enough fabric to overlap. Or if the fabric is really narrow, I might cut it vertically or add a seam on the side where I have a fold now. To summarize, I need twice the width plus twice the hem allowance, and I aim for 1 inch wide hems plus the size of the overlap, which I aim to be 8 inches. For the height, I measure the height of the pillow and I add 1 inch seam allowance on both top and bottom. I have a leftover piece of satin fabric here that is 63 inches wide, which suits me as there is enough for hems and overlap. As for the height, I need to shorten a bit to match my pillow. I measure the height of my pillow plus seam allowance and put a mark with a pin. Then I cut, aiming to make the cut a straight, perpendicular line, and I need to go just a bit beyond the selvage. All woven fabrics rip straight on the grain. That's why I rip the fabric with my hands and it goes at a straight line. If you check the excess strip, you'll see that it's absolutely even all along. I'm going to make the hems on the vertical sides. I'm putting pins to mark the hemline at 2 inches on both sides. I double fold the fabric and sew on the wrong side, close to the edge of the fabric fold. The right thing here is to pin the hems in place before sewing and even iron press them. This will make your life easier. I though like to skip steps here and there. Then I repeat with the other side. Now that I've finished hemming both vertical sides of the pillow, I'm going to fold the overlapping flap. To fit my pillows and after the hems, I have 4 inches left for the flap, so I fold and pin at 4 inches wrong sides together. I need a flap only on one side and it doesn't really matter which one. And then I fold the pillowcase in half, wrong sides together. I put pins on the top and the bottom because I'm about to sew here with a French seam. If you don't know what a French seam is, it might seem a little strange to sew on the face side of the fabric, but it will all make sense in a minute. The purpose of the French seam is to hide the seam allowance in so that you have a pretty finished look on the wrong side. I'm going to sew the top and bottom with a 3/8 of an inch or 1 cm seam allowance. When I'm done, I trim half of my seam allowance because I don't want it to stay in the way. And I turn the pillowcase inside out. The last thing I need to do is to hide the seam allowance in. I do my best to push the seam in and in the center. You can iron it or pin it in place. And then sew at the wrong side, again at 3/8 of an inch. My seams now look pretty on the wrong side as well as the face side. And that's it, I have my new satin pillowcase to look after my curls. I hope you liked this video. If so, don't forget to give it the thumbs up and subscribe. Also, click on the notification bell because in the next video I'm going to show you how to make your own t-shirt basic pattern that you can use to make any knit top that you fancy. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I appreciate you all very much and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!